What's going on, you guys? It's Cody Steck. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself, where I came from, and what you need to know if you're thinking about making a move here to Utah and you're considering working with me as your real estate agent here in the state. So I wanted to make this video because I want to talk a little bit about kind of my background, my upbringing, and why I am such an expert on the Utah real estate market and why I'm able to see it from all different sides. So I actually grew up in Sandy. I lived in Sandy from the time I was about 3 until I was about 14. At 14 years old, I made the move to Cottonwood Heights, which is a little bit further north, and lived there until I was about 21 years old. At that point, I actually decided to make the purchase of my very first home at just 21 years old. I bought a condo, or a townhome I should say, in West Valley. I made the move out to West Valley because it was an area that I could afford and it was something that I could get my feet wet with, and I still actually own that place today. So this is exactly how I got into real estate in the first place. At just 21 years old, I bought my first place, and it only took 1 month of making that mortgage payment myself to realize, hey, I don't love doing this. I need to get some roommates. So that's kind of what got me on the investing path as well. I got a couple of roommates after moving into that first place, and after, about a year and a half, I actually made the move into other homes. But before I did that, after going through that process of buying that very first place, I actually loved real estate so much. I loved the process of buying the home and getting roommates and just doing that, everything involved with that so much that I decided, hey, I need to get into real estate. This is something that I need to do. This is something that I'm really attracted to. So after having just lived there for about a year, I decided to jump in, get my real estate license, and drop out of college. At that point, I'd had 2 years in college and decided, this just isn't quite for me anymore. So I decided to drop out instead of pursuing a 4-year degree and got my real estate license instead. This is what kind of set me up on the sales side of real estate, but also the investing side, right? I mentioned that I got a couple of roommates to help me cover the mortgage there on the house. And I realized, hey, if I actually moved back in with my parents, who I was living with before that, right? I was living with my mom. If I moved back in with my mom at that point, I could actually be in a position where I'd be cash flowing $200 positively per month on the townhome, and this would cover my mortgage, and I'd have a little bit of extra spending money at that time. So for me at that time, having that extra $200 per month was actually a very big difference, and it was something that I looked at and said, hey, maybe if I bought one place every single year and was able to get $200 or $300 per month, in 15 or 20 years, I could be retired at that point. So it just got my mind spinning, and one thing led to the next, and I figured, hey, I need to be investing in real estate. This is something I need to do, and I'm in a great market to be able to do so. So that kind of led me into the real estate world in the first place. I decided to get my license all at the same time, and before you know it, I was buying and selling real estate, helping clients do the same, and I was buying real estate myself. Now, I've only sold a couple of properties that I've owned myself. In fact, I've only sold 2 of them, and I'll talk a little bit about that, why I decided to do that rather than keep them, because I am such a big believer in keeping real estate properties, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I made the move from that very first townhome in West Valley. I made the move out to Riverton and lived in a home there where I actually lived in the upstairs with my then girlfriend, who is now my wife, Allie. And we lived upstairs and we rented out the basement and produced about $1,000 a month in rental income, and we had a mortgage of about $1,400 per month. So we were able to live in a great neighborhood for just $400 per month, plus a little bit of other expenses for, internet, utilities, stuff like that. So this was really the opportunity that really set things in motion, right? We lived in a great house in a great neighborhood for just a couple $100 per month, and it was the best decision we ever made. So we lived there for about a year. We ended up selling that house because it needed a lot of work. That was one of the homes we ended up selling, and it just didn't make sense to keep the property because to get it up to the rental standards that I have, it was gonna need about $40,000 worth of work between it, and we just didn't want to put in the money at that time. So we ended up selling that property. We moved to Midvale. We lived in Midvale for a year, owned a property there. We did some remodeling on the property in Midvale, and then we made the move from that Midvale house to a different house in Midvale. We lived there for about a year, and then we made the move back to Sandy, where I grew up and actually where my wife grew up as well. So we now live back in Sandy, but I've lived all around Salt Lake County, and it's given me a really good perspective on what type of people are in each area, what the prices are, what the neighborhoods are like, and what you can expect if you're living there in those areas. So if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you've been watching some of my other videos about what it's like to live here in Utah, and I try to give you a non-biased approach to what you need to know about living in each specific city. Especially if you reach out to me, I'm going to answer all of your questions that you need to know. in regards to living in that area, and I just try to make it unbiased as possible, right? I don't want to have any crazy surprises once you do make that move here to the area, so I just try to give it to you straight. So I've lived all around, ended up back in Sandy, and that's now where I live with my wife, Allie, of course, and then our 1.5-year-old little boy, Reggie, who is the light of my life, right? He's the best thing that's ever happened. So that's a little bit about myself. I just wanted to get a little bit more personal with you guys instead of always just talking about Utah. You might be wondering, hey, who is Cody? Who's this guy? What is he all about? And I just wanted to kind of share this quick little video with you to give you a little bit deeper understanding and perspective as to who I am. So I bought real estate properties. I've owned in Riverton. We sold that house. The one in Midvale we still own. The second one in Midvale that we owned, we actually ended up selling because it wasn't going to make a great rental at the time. Looking back, I wish we kind of would have kept it, but again, we wouldn't have been able to get into the home we were in now if we hadn't sold that last one and used the money from that to be able to purchase the one we're in. So that's the way things go. I'm always buying and selling real estate. Since then, I bought 2 other duplexes. I actually just closed on one yesterday, so I'm super excited about that, adding more to the real estate investing portfolio. So I think that I can actually give you a different way to look at real estate here in Utah, and I think that I can give you a way to look at it as an investment as well. It's not just a place to live, but it's something that can help you build long-term wealth for your family and help you get set up on the right financial path. So whether you're looking to move here and just purchase something for your family, or you actually want to invest in real estate as well, make sure to reach out to me. I love it when you guys reach out. Even if you're just looking to get some answers to some questions about what you have here in Utah, I'm more than happy to help. Even if you don't want to purchase a home, reach out. I'm happy to hear from you. If you do want to buy a home or you do want to invest in real estate here, that's my bread and butter, and I'd love to hear from you. So my information is here on the screen, so reach out to me anytime. Call me, text me, or email me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to make sure you stay up to date on everything you need to know about what it's like to live, work, eat, sleep, and play here in Salt Lake City and along the Wasatch Front. So with that being said, guys, I hope this gave you a little bit more of an insight into who I am and what I'm all about, and got you the opportunity to be a little bit more personal with myself, and I can't wait to get a little bit more personal with you once you reach out and learn a little bit more about the upcoming relocation that you're going to have, or even just buying real estate here in Utah. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.